Hello, everyone. It'll become obvious that I'm in a hotel room recording this on my own without any technical or lighting support, but I think it should work okay for the purposes intended. So forgive me, Victor, I'll do the best that I can. We had a busy month during September as we started up a new academic year at Oregon State University. I'm going to report on a few things and then look forward a bit as well. On the good side, the Beavers at this moment are 4-0, so life is good on the athletic scene so far. A quick recap about this month. Early in September, Dave King and I attended a retreat, an annual retreat of the Provost Council that produced several things that you might find of interest. One I think I've shared already. It's called an ethos statement. It was signed by all members of the council and will be displayed prominently at the university. The ethos statement describes the way that we think about our relationship to people and serving and treating those in our world. So take a look at it or let me know if you haven't seen that and would like to again. We talked about budget improvement processes on the campus that over time I believe will provide better alignment between the way in which we handle education and general funds in respect to resident student work and our own extended campus online inventory and the way in which income from that part of the business that's growing is handled university-wide. And we worked on the development of a research strategy at the university. Former Vice Provost Rick Spinrad resigned recently. There's an interim vice president as we search for a new one. I asked to be placed on that committee because of the growing role and relationship of engagement to our research work at OSU. And I thought I would also engage our Outreach and Engagement Council in a conversation about the extent to which we should revisit what we developed about a year ago that we called the O&E agenda, and to revisit that. Our division hosted in the last month the third annual community engagement bus tour that we called the Road Scholar Tour. We loaded 50 people on a bus. These are faculty and staff who are new to OSU or new to engagement, and we spent overnight and in conversations in Hood River, in Woodburn, and in Salem. So I look forward to seeing the kind of the play out and the long-term results of giving people that kind of a quick start and a look at the way in which OSU engages community partnerships. In mid-month, I had the privilege of hosting the Western Extension Directors Association at Timberline Lodge, and so my colleagues from across the West convened, and we talked a bit about the first 100 years of the Extension Service in this country. This is the centennial year of the Smith-Lever Act that founded the system, but more importantly, we looked forward about how we might borrow concepts of things like disruptive innovation in order to think about a more contemporary extension service and the features that we might want to think about building in over time. So watch for a document that we produced at Timberline Lodge, I believe what we called a manifesto or something like that, where we all co-commit to the way in which extension might think about its future. A big event that lasted most of last week was the annual Extension Conference, largely planned by OSU Extension Association, and thank you very much for that. There was a myriad of activities that I had the good fortune to participate in. Started with launching of the first executive leadership program in the division. We've got a terrific cadre of people who will help us kind of learn about and then think about the dimensions of leadership as we prepare for upcoming generations of those who will serve in the kind of the capacity that I do here for Oregon State University. I hosted an event for new OSU faculty and staff in the Extension Service, and was really gratified to have 35 people who have been new in the last year or so to join us. We hosted a retirees barbecue at the Benton County Fairgrounds, where I did some back-of-the-envelope calculations and had well more than 1,000 years of extension education experience in the room with us. So it was really fun to kind of tell stories and to think back over the careers of these still very vital extension retirees. We hosted a staff appreciation lunch celebrating the role that our front office and support staff play at serving as really the key first conversations for many of our relationships with partners and stakeholders and the clients that we served. We celebrated our cooperators with a cooperators recognition dinner and celebrated staff awards for those that are doing really some exemplary work. And I hope those that were there remember the memorable lunch with President Ray, who reflected a bit on his perspectives of our work and future. We hosted a full-day training session on the emergent roles of county leaders and the role that they play representing the whole university across the state. And we announced formally, after predicting it a month ago, that OSU has joined a relatively new online consortium of universities known as Unison that will develop a more robust learning management system, a repository for sharing learning modules so that each of us doesn't have to kind of create from scratch learning activities, and a set of analytics that will allow us to learn about our learners and to grow our programs more effectively. And who could forget the keynoter, Jay Reifenberry, who spent parts of 3 days with us, challenging us to examine our core values and ask a provocative question like, what do we want to be remembered for? And I'll invite you to help think through our now published extension core values. While they've been around a while, I think they are fairly enduring. But the question is, are there some that are missing, or should we revisit the strategic thinking and planning of the Extension Service? Quickly, there are 6 of them. We believe that core values of OSU Extension include being community-based. Accountability is the second core value. Credibility, the third. Diversity, the fourth core value. Fifth one, partnerships. And the sixth, responsiveness. And as I begin to wind down, a big item that I announced last week was a small group that's agreed to advise me on organizational options for the executive kind of level of the Division of Outreach and Engagement pending Deb Maddie's announced retirement at the end of, or near the end of 2015. That'll leave a big void in our organization, and I'm looking forward to hearing the thoughts of Dave Hansen, Terry Fees, John Punches, Lisa Templeton, Rebecca Badger, and Michelle Carrillo, who will go through a facilitated process recommending some things we might consider as we initiate a search for Deb Maddie's replacement sometime early in 2015. So as I wrap up, let me just say the hotel I'm in is in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, which is the site of the Engagement Scholarship Conference, an annual event that's now drawing 600 or 700 people. We have a very meaningful delegation of Oregon State University faculty who will be involved in presenting papers, moderating sessions. In my case, it's an honor to serve on the executive board of the Engagement Scholarship Consortium. There'll be a number of highlights here, but no more meaningful than a presentation on Wednesday that'll focus on